they move away to find jobs. So I think one of our biggest challenges is to try to keep our younger people here, which is going to be bringing in something for them to have jobs, good places for them to live, updating the infrastructure that we have. But I think, and that's going to be a big challenge to us. And a lot of that it hinges on grant funds, because we don't have the tax base that bigger cities have, so we can't do that kind of stuff. So I think probably our biggest challenge is to get those grants and fund some housing in town to draw in some businesses so that we can grow.
Have another question?
I have some that's for all candidates, so I guess that would include me too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to this question from someone in the audience. What is the single most important thing you know of to make Bovina viable as a community over the next 10 years?
I think housing is going to be a big thing to make us a viable community, because, as I've said before, that's going to give people a place to live, and that's going to bring other businesses in. But we have, we are set in a perfect spot to have a lot of industries come in here. We could pull all kinds of industry in here. I know that we've got the wind industry coming around, but there's a chance if the wind industry takes off like it should, then there's a chance that if we put ourselves out there, that maybe you get somebody that comes and puts a company in that works on the turbines, or that manufactures the generators for those. I think we're set in a perfect spot because we're in between New Mexico and Amarillo, which is, and I know there's a car company that's been looking for a spot out in here that wants to use wind energy and solar energy to power their plant. Well, we set in a perfect spot for it. So that I think we need to advertise our city more to keep us out there and keep us in people's minds. They always say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Well, if we just keep putting ourselves out there, people are going to notice us. And part of that goes along with that is making the city look good when you come down the highway. We need to clean that up and make that where it's attractive when you first come into town.
Okay, next pre-selected question. What is your position on the sale of liquor in Bovina city limits?
My position is I don't think we need it in Bovina. I think it makes it more accessible to our children. And I realize that, and you can talk to anyone. I talked to the city manager at Dimmitt about it. And he told me, he said, right now you have kids that are drinking alcohol, which we all realize that. But he said, what you do when you get the alcohol sales in town is you make it more accessible to them. So I don't think that we need it for that reason, plus, that's just not one of my beliefs. As a Christian, I don't think that that's what we need, and I don't think that that's what the city needs. The amount of revenue that you'll get from liquor sales will not even fund one officer for a year, and you will have to have extra officers to police the alcohol sales. So I'm against it, and a big part of that is my Christian belief.
Okay, last question for the candidate as mayor. If elected, we're gonna go into muddy waters here. We're gonna talk not about promises, but about vision. Okay, we don't need any more promises from elected officials, do we? So I don't want you to make any promises. But if elected, what would you like to see happen during this term as mayor?
If elected, I'd like to see us, actively address the housing situation. Because as I said, I think that if we get those houses in, if we get those people to move to town, that we will boost our businesses in town. We've got the new Sweet Brand plant out there, and I know those people, they're having to drive from somewhere. So if they have a closer place to live, the price of gas is going to offset them having to buy a house here. So I think probably one of the biggest things we need to address is to try to get some kind of contractor for the city council to work with the Economic Development Corporation and get some infrastructure put in to where when we find a developer, that developer will say, yeah, I'm gonna, you put the infrastructure in for me, I can do the houses cheaper, and if we can get that done, then we can boost our population, which is going to get more businesses in town. It's going to help the school out. It's going to help the city out, because once you get more businesses and you get more people in town, then you have a bigger tax base to pull from, which feeds itself, because you can put more into the city, do more of that stuff, and then draw more people in. So I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing that we would need to address.
Would you join me in thanking Stan for showing up and answering our questions? Okay, we're going to take just a minute. You might like to stand up. I know those seats are hard. We're going to get the candidates for City Council up here. Don't forget, we have donuts on the table. We have coffee.